Hey everybody, I'm Mark Wallace. Well, today I'm taking a break from all the shooting to actually do some brainstorming, and I thought I'd tell you sort of my own style of brainstorming. And this is something that I've developed over about 20 years, a little bit more than that actually. And so let me walk you through all these different tools that I have here and tell you some of my methodology. So some of this stuff is based on this book by Doug Hall. It's called Jumpstart Your Brain. This book was written in 1995, and I read it right when it came out and have used a lot of the stuff that's in this book. I really recommend it. There's a new version of this that you can get now, but this is all great stuff for using in groups. So normally when I do brainstorming, I'm not doing it by myself. I'm a big believer in collaborative thinking, but today I'll just show you some of the stuff that I do when I'm working by myself. Now, I have a bunch of magazines here. These magazines are part of my stimulus. In other words, all the stuff that I look at to give me inspiration and ideas. I also have music and videos and all kinds of other things as well, but I have a huge library of books and magazines and videos and movies and things like that that are in my office, and I've just grabbed a bunch of these that are relevant to what I'm working on today. The other thing I use a lot are these index cards. Now, any idea that you have, if you're working on a team or by yourself, you have to put that idea into action for it to be of any use. So you have to be able to communicate that to other people. And one really quick, easy way to communicate is by scribbling down notes on little cards, and then you can take those cards and you can rearrange them and scribble on them, give them to somebody else. They can mark stuff out and augment. So I'm a really big believer of a Sharpie and some 3x5 cards. Now, another thing I use, this is a really low-tech solution when I'm traveling on airplanes and in taxi cabs and things like that. I actually use just pen and paper. So this is actually a moleskin notebook and a good old ballpoint pen. And so I use these a lot, and I highly recommend these because they're, pretty inexpensive and they'll work anywhere. Now, I've got some other things here, and I use my MacBook Pro a lot. So let me tell you what I've got on my MacBook Pro. Now, I love my MacBook Pro because it's powerful enough that I can actually do some production work on my laptop when I'm either at home or away from my production machine, and it's powerful enough for me to edit videos and try different ideas. I can shoot some maybe iPhone test shots and then actually edit those on this computer. But let me tell you about some of the inspirational stuff I have here. So one of them is called TED. It's a website, TED.com, and it's all about spreading ideas that are amazing. So riveting talks by remarkable people. It's a totally free site, and I watch this constantly. I really recommend that you watch it. One of the talks that I really like is by this guy named Sir Ken Robinson. He's talking about education and how people think and how creativity can be developed or squashed. And so it's a video I really encourage everybody to watch. And if you like that video, then check out his book. It's called The Element, and it's at Amazon.com. I've read it. I think it's really, really terrific for those. It's all based on finding something that you love to do and that you're meant to do and putting that into practice. And then also you can get Jumpstart Your Brain at Amazon.com. I highly recommend you read that. Now, a lot of this stuff you're going to read through the book and you're going to find that there are sections that you think are like, whatever. But there are some real good nuggets of knowledge and wisdom in both of those books. So check that out. Now, as far as the tools that I use on my computer, I have a lot. I have the entire Creative Suite from Adobe. I have the entire Final Cut Studio on this laptop, and I use both of those pretty extensively. I also have this Wacom tablet, and I use my Wacom tablet for a lot of things. One of them, I use Sketchbook Pro. Actually, this is Sketchbook Express. And if I have an idea that I need to communicate really fast and I just want to scribble it and I need to get it out to people through email or something, instead of using my pen and paper, I can actually use my pen on my tablet here, and I can actually draw little cartoons. And it's really easy. It works just like a pen and paper. I actually have an eraser, so I can erase stuff if I want to. And so this is an idea that I was working on to, this took me about, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes. You can tell it's a really rough sketch of an idea for using a globe to light a table of people. So I was using that. So that's Sketchbook Express. Also, you can get, and Sketchbook Express, by the way, comes when you buy an Intuos pen tablet. So it's free if you buy a tablet. Another really important tool that I use is Adobe Illustrator. Now, I use Illustrator for doing lots of things like lighting plots and doing more refined illustrations. Now, I'm not a really good drawing artist, so I like to have tools that help me draw straight lines and things like that. And Illustrator really helps me get there. So I use this quite a bit when I'm trying to communicate ideas with other people. What I've done is I've created a bunch of templates for lighting styles and different things like stands and tripods and things like that. And once I got those drawn, I can just copy and paste them all around to make really, really fast sketches. Now, all of that stuff really works when I put it into another piece of software I have, and this piece of software is called Celtx. Now, it's for doing screenplays, for AV things, voiceovers, things like that. Any kind of thing that's going to be filmed or read, maybe podcasting, things like that. Any kind of scripts or things that are going to be acted on a stage, you can use that for Celtx. And Celtx is absolutely free, so that's just a big bonus. Now, the nice thing about Celtx is you can write your screenplay, you can actually storyboard as well. So I've taken a lot of those sketches that I've made and I've put these into all of my storyboards, so then I can communicate all the ideas I have for this particular project to all of our production staff. So all the camera operators, I have directions for them, for the photo assistants that are going to be setting up and working with our lighting equipment. They'll know exactly what to do. The models, the hairstylists, the wardrobe stylists, all that stuff is in Celtx. It even has, and I haven't worked on this one, but a production schedule. So you can schedule moving days and when you're going to be driving from location A to location B, when you're shooting on location A, all the different scenes, all the different plot lines. It's a really, really robust application, and it's free. So you can't go wrong there. And we use Celtx quite a bit. You can even check in projects and share them across people using Celtx Studio, which is a subscription. It's, I think, 20 bucks a year or something like that. But then you can have a whole team of people working all over the world checking in and checking out stuff. And so there's source control built in. So Celtx, I highly recommend that. Now there's some other applications here that I use. One of them is called Mind Manager. And this is for doing mind mapping. And this is another utility tool that comes out of Doug Hall's book, and other people have talked about it. But you can take something that's very simple like creativity and expand those ideas and expand them a little bit farther. And you can even get it to, and I'll zoom this all the way out so you can see the entire thing. Make this a pretty complex match and start looking at all the different ideas that you have and making associations and adding priorities and notes and links. And it's a very, very robust application. I've used it for years and years and years. I used to do this on pen and paper until I found this application. So I really, really like it. So that's Mind Manager. And then the other thing I use, so along the way I'm going to have things that people are going to call me on my phone, or I'm going to get an email or something I have to follow up on that might be part of the brainstorming or might not be. I don't want to forget those things, but I don't want to hang on to those because I want to keep my brainstorming going. So what I use is I use something called OmniFocus, and what this allows me to do is quickly just throw in a task or an idea or a project. Then I can come back to that later and put it in context. I can prioritize it, I can add notes, I can put due dates, I can do all kinds of things. So every day I come into OmniFocus and I look at what my day is going to be like. I figure out what tasks I have to work on, what's due, what's overdue, who I need to call, who I need to email, different projects. And then from that I can set reminders. It interfaces with my iPhone and iPad, so it's also a really, really nice application. So OmniFocus is for all my task management, and it's based on getting things done, which a lot of you are familiar with. It's just a workflow methodology. So those are some of the things that I use for all my creativity and getting things done. And last but not least, I use iTunes. So iTunes is invaluable to me because when I'm working on something, I like to listen to a lot of music. Music really motivates me to work, especially when I'm writing. And so I have a very, very large library of music that I can just pull out and listen to. So right now I'm listening to The Thin Red Line. It's a soundtrack. And I like listening to a lot of soundtracks because a lot of them don't have lyrics. And so if I'm writing something, I don't like the words from the music to influence my writing, so I like to have instrumental music, and so that's what I was listening to while I was working. And then last but not least, two other things. One is I have this LaCie rugged drive here, so I have just tons of ideas, and I have so many ideas that I actually can't store them all on my laptop. I've run out of space, so I store those on my external drive. This is a rugged drive, so it's going to be, it's going to last, and it's going to take all the bumps and beatings of me putting it in a bag, taking it out of a bag, and putting it all over the place. So it's made for carrying all over the place. And then last, my watch. And so what I like to do is block out a big chunk of time and then take my watch off and not pay attention to the time. And if I have enough time, I can do that. If not, I'll set a reminder or something that will tell me, hey, you've got about 20 minutes left, and that way I can come back to the real world. And I also like to take my phone and turn it off, or at least turn it on silent, and so I'm not I don't have a lot of interruptions from phone calls or instant messages or texts, things like that. I just take all those distractions, get rid of them until my time is up, then I come back and find out I have 500 emails. But that's how I do it. Those are some of my strategies for just thinking of ideas and then getting those ideas into practice and creating something that is actually useful and productive. So there you have it. Again, check out Jumpstart Your Brain by Doug Hall. It's highly worth it. And that's my method for thinking up new stuff.
This episode is brought to you by Adorama TV. Visit the Adorama Learning Center where you'll find photography tips and techniques, links to the gear used in this episode, and related videos. For all the latest photography, video, and computer gear, visit Adorama.com. And the next time you're in New York City, visit our store located on 18th Street between 5th and 6th Avenue.